what are concepts and how can we go beyond concepts? A very intriguing question, because right from the time we start our education, we are exposed to concepts and more concepts and more concepts. And we almost lose sight of the fact that we are mostly dealing with concepts when we're thinking. And in fact, by the time we're adults, we are moving through life constantly processing, analyzing concepts, ideas. Think of anything. It's a concept. It's not the real thing. If you think of an apple, well, it's just your concept of an apple that you just thought of. It's not the real apple, right? So we are so used to living in this world of concepts that we can actually lose touch with the real thing. And this is not some very remote possibility. This is practically what's happening with every one of us all the time. We start living in the world of concepts. And you might say, what's the big deal? I'm doing okay. Well, every concept represents some reality. And as long as you are using the concept as a tool and not losing touch with reality, it's fine. Concepts are very useful. But what's happened, unfortunately, is we've gotten so intellectual that the concepts have assumed a life of their own. And we have decoupled from the reality underlying that. So if all this sounds very theoretical, let me make it practical. Imagine if we talk about going to Yellowstone on vacation in, next summer. And instead of actually taking you to Yellowstone, I just show you a map of Yellowstone and some pictures. Would you be satisfied, right? It's no comparison with the actual Yellowstone. So you end up with, that's what you end up with. Your life ends up being a bunch of concepts if you lose touch with the reality. So the journey of personal transformation, it is happening in the context of consciousness. And consciousness is kind of the deepest underlying reality. So because of that, if we distance ourselves from that, we are going to find ourselves in a pretend life, having pretend experiences and pretend growth. It's not real growth. So for true personal transformation, you want to get back in touch with reality. And you cannot afford to just be living in concepts. So what that means is, in our daily experience of life, we have to start noticing that, first of all, how deeply immersed we are in our thoughts, in the ideas, and start noticing the gaps when we are simply being and not gripped by any kind of thought or concept. That's the doorway that puts us in touch with what's actually there. And this requires a conscious effort, and it can feel a little strange at first because we're so used to jumping from one concept to another one to another one. This requires a retraining of our being to extricate itself from the world of thoughts and concepts and allow itself to swim in this world of beingness. And what we find is that it is so deeply nourishing and it's so deeply satisfying and so simple that we wonder, what in the world have I been doing all these years with ideas of success and ideas of accomplishment, whereas the satisfaction I was seeking is right here, in being in touch with that reality. So concepts, we want to be we want to become more aware of concepts, how we are relating to concepts, and then disengage from concepts so we can swim in beingness. When you choose light, life becomes increasingly joyful, purposeful, and inspired. I invite you to join me to explore the realms of light the infinite possibilities that light offers.